please become a member of Planet InfoWars, become a member of Prison Planet TV. It's the way you support us. And we'll be right back after this break with a few more stories and a special interview from Jim Tucker at last year's Bilderberg in St. Moritz, Switzerland.
Have you been to InfoWarsShop.com lately? Express your inner patriot with these brand new InfoWars t-shirts. Say it loud with the InfoWars Bullhorn shirt, or educate the sheeple with the Bill of Rights shirt. Grope the public's mind with the TSA shirt. And with this shirt, you can let the dark side know of the Rebel Alliance's power. All available at InfoWarsShop.com.
For more than 6 years, I've talked on the air about creating a social network. PlanetInfoWars.com is in its beta phase. We're just launching it, and I want to invite all of you out there to be in on the ground level. Planet InfoWars is about people coming together, forming activist organizations, getting involved politically, hunting and fishing, gardening, dating. This is a place for people who love freedom to meet and to talk and to write and to post information. And I give you this pledge. We are not going to spy on you and sell your data to the New World Order. PlanetInfoWars.com is free, so people who love freedom can get together, connect with people who are awake and know what we're facing. Be active, organize, take action, go viral, create, contribute, resist, because resistance is victory. You are victory. It's waiting for you to breathe power into it. PlanetInfoWars.com. Sick of the globalist eugenicist control freaks adding poison to your water and laughing as you get sick and die? Start purifying your water with ProPure. My friends, I've done a lot of research, and the best gravity filter out there, bar none, is ProPure. And it's available discounted at InfoWars.com. Its filters are silver impregnated to prevent bacterial growth. There's no priming required. It's NSF 42 certified. Optional fluoride filters can reduce fluoride up to 95%. Easy to set up and use. Doesn't require electricity. Purify water from lakes, streams, ponds, and wells. This filter system leaves in beneficial minerals, which is key. Save money by not buying bottled water and avoid BPA that leaches from the plastic. ProPure is the best gravity-fed filter out there. It's what my family uses. InfoWars.com already has the lowest price on ProPure. But if you add the promo code WATER at checkout, you get an additional 10% off at InfoWars.com. You can also call to order 888-253-3139.
Welcome back to InfoWars Nightly News. I'm Rob Dew, and here's a few more stories. This is from CBS Local, and this is an update. Causeway cannibal identified. Fears grow over drug possibility involved. And here we go. We got a little fear-mongering and disinformation. The suspected cannibal has been identified by Miami-Dade County Medical Examiner's officer as 31-year-old Rudy Eugene. Eugene may have been homeless at the time of the attack, and his last known address was northern Miami. And so they go on in this article to talk about bath salts, and they think bath salts was the cause for the crime because they're seeing a lot of this. And they immediately equate bath salts with LSD. And if you go look up what actually is in bath salts, which they aren't even really bath salts, they just call them that so they can sell them to you. And the druggies out there know it's really used for human consumption, though they buy it as bath salts. But anyway, it's made from 3 possible hallucinogens / synthetic stimulants. The first is methylone, then there's mephedrone, and then there's another one which is kind of hard to pronounce, methylene-deoxyprovalerone, or MDPV. And basically they mix these up with other stimulants and put it in a concoction, and there's no way to know how much you're taking at that time. So it's probably, this guy was on one of these things, none of which is LSD. And so all 3 of these ingredients have recently been listed as controlled substances, and there's legislation in place to make them illegal, so possession of them would become illegal. Interestingly enough, these were all, 2 of them were invented back in the 60s. One of them was in 1929. So these chemicals have been around for a while. And I tried to do some research to find out who exactly invented them or who owns the patents now. And I couldn't do that in the time limit that I had. But I suspect that if you go into these, you're going to find drug company ties to them. So pretty interesting enough. But now we have cannibal zombies running around after they take bath salts. Very weird world we live in. let's move on. Kurt Nimmo writes, President Romney, Secretary of State Lieberman, and war against Iran. And this is an article that talks about who Bolton or who Romney is going to pick as his Secretary of War, and it could be Lieberman, or it could be, who's the other guy? John Bolton. Those are the other two. So you know, if those guys, if Romney wins, you know those two are going to be both pushing for a war with Iran. And we all know Obama is a war president, so we all know he's going to go to war with Iran if he wins. We know they're both supported by Bain Capital, which is Romney's old boss, and it really gets me mad that we have people out there. I see them with their little signs in their cars, vote for Romney, vote for Obama, and people are so stupid that they believe in this two-party system. Guess what, people? The puppet master's got two hands. Up one rear is Obama, and up the other is Romney, and they're gonna tell you whatever they want, and you're stupid, and you're gonna buy it. It pisses me off. It really pisses me off that we're still talking about this stuff and we don't realize that it's a left-right paradigm. They're two wrestlers. They're owned by the same puppet master. Get that through your thick skulls. Don't vote for your president. Don't vote for either one of them. Tear off your bumper stickers, throw your signs away, and stop supporting the system. Or all we're going to have is more wars, and more of your children are going to die, and all our taxes are going to get raised to pay for this globalist banker scum. Just looking at this article really pisses me off. You know why? Because it's all a show. We're all part of it, and we all need to wake up and grow up and start talking about who the real people are out there. Moving on, escape from New York. High taxing Empire State loses 3.4 million residents in 10 years. New York State accounted for the biggest migration exodus of any state in the nation between 2000 and 2010, with 3.4 million residents leaving over that period, according to the Tax Foundation, representing a loss of $45.6 billion in income. They found that more than 600,000 residents have moved to Florida over the decade, opting perhaps for the Sunshine State's more lenient tax system, taking nearly $20 billion in adjusted growth income with them. Is that a surprise? When you raise taxes, people leave. That's why people are leaving this country. That's why you had one of the founders of Facebook moving overseas. You know, he says he's going to pay his taxes, but, you know, the reason they're leaving is because of the tax system. But guess what? If you're part of the United Nations, you don't have to pay taxes. And here we go to The Guardian. Christine Lagarde, scourge of tax evaders, pays no taxes. And this is right after she's coming out and telling the Greeks to pay your taxes, even though she doesn't pay any. And the same applies to nearly all United Nations employees. In fact, Article 34 of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations of 1961, which has been signed by 187 states, declares a diplomatic agent shall be exempt from all dues and taxes, personal or real, which is, I like that, or real, national, regional, or municipal, okay? So the people who work for the United Nations or any of these other giant World Bank funds don't pay any taxes on their income. Guess how much she makes? As an official of an international institution, her salary is $467,940 a year, plus another $83,000 in additional for additional allowances that aren't subject to any taxes, okay? So she's telling the stupid slaves to pay their taxes. She doesn't pay a damn thing. That's how the system works, people. Let's go to the quote of the day from Will Durant. And this is from The Story of Civilization. Civilization begins with order, grows with liberty, and dies with chaos. Kind of reminds me of the movie Revenge of the Nerds, where they were contemplating, would you like to be living at the ascendancy of a civilization or the descendancy? Okay, we're on the descendancy right now, people, and if you don't believe it, look around you. That's why we have face-eating cannibals running around naked in Miami, okay, because our civilization is declining. We're going to go to that Jim Tucker interview, and that will be all for the news today. Stay tuned tomorrow with more Bilderberg updates. If you're not doing anything right now, check out the check out the Planet InfoWars site with the Bilderberg Meetup Group, or you can check out our site on INFOWARS.com, our article that's going to have all the live updates, all the links, everything you need to stay informed while we're out there at Bilderberg. Everything you need to know. And with that, I will say goodnight. I will see you guys next time I host the news. Hopefully I'll be a little calmer, but But I'm a little pissed off. I had a lot of time to think about things over the weekend. That's all for tonight. I'm Rob Dew, and this is the INFOWARS Nightly News.
My name is Jim Tucker. We're at St. Marie, Switzerland for the Bilderberg meeting. Well, this year, Bilderberg is strongly committed to expanding the war with the invasion of Egypt so they could have a big war. They use the term big war a lot in the Middle East because that will generate profits. They want them all involved in a big war. Right. They want a war throughout the Middle East, with the exception of Israel. And as I said, there's big profits to be made from war. Because when you go to war, you're making tanks, airplanes, trucks, jeeps, and all kinds of war materials, which is profitable in its own way. And then the war profiteering kicks in, as it has in all of our wars, where other big bucks are made on top of the big bucks. Yes, as I've said before, the page one story in the Financial Times, 1 hour speech delivered by Secretary of Defense Robert Gates, calling for bigger NATO involvement in combat missions, more NATO support for the wars in the Middle East. Very rough-sounding 1 hour speech. It appeared on page one of the Financial Times, and the Financial Times has been attending Bilderberg meetings for decades, and so they keep the promises. So they identified, they said he simply spoke to a private group of luminaries or something to that effect. I've got the clipping here. It did not say Bilderberg. He delivered the speech to a private meeting of financial leaders or consultants or some such variation without identifying as Bilderberg. Well, my source said that was exactly the speech he gave because he was inside there listening to it, maybe got a text. And he said you can depend on, use quotes around wherever he is quoted directly, you can quote him directly. The rest of the story is complete and accurate also, so go ahead and have fun. They intended that to be message get out in a way that would not be traced back to Bilderberg. It was kind of silly for them to think they could do that. Every American, whether he's a civilian shyster or public official, is committing a criminal act by simply being here under the Logan Act. The Logan Act passed shortly after our country was established, 1787, I believe. And it makes it a crime for public officials to meet with private citizens to make public policy behind closed doors. They can do it in the open, where everybody can observe and question, but they cannot do it behind closed doors. The apologists who say, well, that Logan Act was so long ago. Two answers. First of all, if it was passed by the Congress and never repealed, it is still the law of the land. And to the apologists who worry about it being so old, as if that mattered, I'll point out to them that it's been amended and expanded and strengthened several times by Congress over the years, including deep into the 20th century. They've added and expanded the Logan Act. So they're criminals when they attend, and they